You can come upon a deer in a split second. They come out of nowhere.
Just ran right out in front of me and totaled my car. It could be pretty traumatic.
As we came around one of those tighter corners, there's two, small fawns sitting there in the road, and you can't even stop. Highway 20, as you leave Juntura and head towards Harper, it's a very narrow stretch of road, really. It really hugs the river as it goes through there. It's really windy. It's a hard place to see the wildlife as they come on and off the road.
Mule deer is one of those animals. They're just majestic. They're iconic Western deer.
Mule deer contribute to our strong economy. Recreation, hunting, wildlife viewing.
Mule deer distinctly have summer higher elevation habitats and lower elevation winter habitats. Highway 20 is basically running directly through the mule deer's winter habitat.
So there's abundant resources, but the highway hugs the river through a large portion of that region. It's a deadly combination.
Mule deer are a species that need to be able to cross the landscape. When you see those kinds of drops, you think whether or not they're going to be here within even our lifetime.
There's a human safety component to all of this too. Hitting a large animal can total your car, you could have an injury.
If we can find a way to get animals to move across the highway without encountering traffic, then that's a win for the wildlife, and it's a benefit for drivers that are trying to travel safely to their destinations.
The Burns Paiute Tribe has really been leading the effort to think through this problem to protect human life as well as wildlife.
For me, culturally, it is kind of like a circle of life out here to where everything has its part. If we can help with something that needs it, that's what we're here for.
We took as much data as we could and we just looked at that whole stretch of highway. Ultimately, it's a very narrow stretch of the canyon that actually contributes a very significant portion of the state's mule deer mortality along highways.
People need to get to where they need to go safely, and so anytime we're having accidents and fatalities on the highway, that needs to be addressed. We try and start with lower cost solutions like signage. Wildlife fencing can be very beneficial. It can help direct animals to an area that is safe to cross. Structures are definitely the most effective. Something like a wildlife undercrossing or overcrossing that allows animals to continue on where they want to move without interacting with the highway.
You think about the annual cost of the collisions, even just over a few years, a passage structure can pay for itself.
There are a number of bridges in that highway. If we can route those animals under the road instead of over the road, there's certainly going to be some opportunities to retrofit bridges.
We have the technology, we can implement some of these solutions.
A key component is, of course, funding. Right now, the U.S. Congress is poised to reauthorize the federal transportation bill. And for the first time ever, there's an opportunity for the bill to include dedicated funding for wildlife crossings that would enable tribes, state, and other local governments to develop transportation measures that reduce wildlife vehicle collisions.
The animals don't have a lot of places left on this planet, and they're kind of slowly dwindling away. And something that can be managed, I think we should kind of do our part.
Getting people to work together to improve the road for wildlife and people, there's a lot of power in that.
Nobody wants to hit deer on the highway. Let's work together to prevent wildlife vehicle collisions on Highway 20.